The stars were quiet. The cold darkness of space stretched in every direction like a black ocean. The Empire's patrol ship, Varnock 7, floated through that silent sea. Inside the ship, bright lights glowed. Machines beeped. A young alien officer named Lyrics sat at the control panel. He was bored. His long fingers tapped the screen again and again, checking the sensors. Nothing. Only cold rocks, dead satellites, and ancient space junk. Another quiet shift, he muttered. Lyrics belonged to the Draken Empire, a race that ruled most of the galaxy. They were proud, powerful, and feared. For 300 years they controlled hundreds of planets. They destroyed enemies without mercy. But Lyrics wasn't like most Drakens. He was curious. He liked reading old war records. He wanted to understand history, not just follow orders. As he yawned and looked at the empty screen, something happened. Beep. A signal appeared. Weak, almost nothing. But it was there. Lyrics leaned forward. Is this real? He whispered. The signal was coming from deep space. A place marked Dead Zone, no activity expected. Lyrics pressed a button. Control, this is Patrol Varnock 7. I'm receiving. A signal. It's old, really old. A voice replied in his ear. Ignore it. Might be echo from space debris. But Lyrics didn't listen. He enhanced the signal. The screen shook. Static filled the speakers. Then, a voice came through, weak, broken, but clear enough. A deep, tired voice. This is Captain Zorax of the Draken Empire. If you're hearing this, it means I failed. Humanity is rising ... and they will not stop. Do not ignore this warning. Stop them, or the Empire will fall. Lyrics froze. Zorax? That name hadn't been spoken in over 200 years. He was a war hero. One of the greatest Draken commanders. He led the final invasion of Earth. But after the war, he disappeared. Some said he died. Others said he betrayed the Empire. The truth was never known. Lyrics's hands trembled. How is this possible? He downloaded the message. The signal was over 200 years old. It came from a small moon in Sector X5, near the Edge Nebula, a place long forgotten. He opened the Galactic Archives. Typed the name, Zorax, access, restricted. Why is a war hero's file locked? He stared at the screen. Then made a decision. I'm going there. 12 hours later, Lyrics flew a small scout ship toward the abandoned moon. The Empire didn't care. They thought it was a waste of time. But Lyrics had a feeling. Something in Zorax's voice. It wasn't fear of humans. It was fear for the Empire. As the ship landed, dust and ice clouds swirled around. The surface was gray, dry, full of old craters and broken tech. Lyrics wore a breathing suit and stepped out. The signal came from a small cave near a frozen hill. He walked carefully. His boots crunched on the icy ground. Inside the cave, everything was silent. Dead until he saw it. A broken transmitter, very old, but still humming. Nearby, a frozen Draken military coat. On the wall, scratched words in ancient script. They learn. They survive. They change. We do not. Lyrics's skin went cold. Then he saw something stranger. Half buried in the ice. Was a helmet, but it wasn't Draken. It was human. He picked it up slowly. It was cracked, dirty, but clearly of human design. On the side, faded letters read, Unit 9, Earth Resistance. There was blood on the inside, but it wasn't human blood. It was green. Blood. Suddenly, Lyrics's cum buzzed. Patrol Varnock 7, return immediately. You have entered restricted space. He didn't reply. He stared at the helmet. Zorax. What did you do here? Back on his ship, Lyrics replayed the message again. Humanity is not what you think. They are not weak. They are not finished. If we do not learn, they will end us. Each word felt heavier now. He opened his private journal and started recording. This is Officer Lyrics. I have discovered a 200-year-old warning from Captain Zorax. He believed humanity would rise again. I have found proof. A human helmet with Draken blood. Something happened here. I will continue the investigation, even if the Empire calls me a fool. He closed the journal. His eyes were tired, but his mind was racing. Then the lights flickered. His ship's screen blinked. Incoming transmission. They are watching you. Lyrics's heart jumped. He looked around. Alone, or so he thought. He rushed to the radar. There a faint signal. A shadow near the dark side of the moon. Something was there. Another ship? He sent a scan. No reply. Then static again. A second message played, older and more broken. But the voice was the same. Zorax. I tried. I warned them. I gave them everything. And still, they called me traitor. But I saw it. I saw the fire in their eyes. Humans, they don't forget. They don't forgive. And when they return, it will be the end. The transmission ended. Lyric sat in silence. The stars outside were still quiet. But now they felt different. Like something was hiding behind them. Watching. Waiting. Back at the Empire's capital, the High Council reviewed Lyrics's report. They laughed. Ghost stories from a dead soldier. Humans, extinct. They were weak, broken, not a threat. Only one old general looked concerned. He remembered Zorax. He wasn't a coward, he whispered. If he left a warning, we should listen. But the council moved on. No action taken. No. Alert issued. They never heard the full message. They didn't hear the last line Zorax spoke. Only Lyrics did. Late at night, as his ship floated through the void, the message played again. You cannot stop them with strength, only with truth. And truth is what the Empire fears most. The next day, Lyrics tried to access Zorax's full files. Again denied, but he noticed something strange. A hidden folder inside the data chip he found on the moon. He opened it. Inside was a video, badly damaged, but still running. It showed Zorax, older, tired, standing in front of a fire. Behind him were humans, not prisoners, but allies. He spoke. I once believed the Empire was unbreakable. I helped destroy Earth. I burned their cities. I followed orders. But then I saw what we were doing, not to soldiers, but to children. And I saw what the humans did next. They didn't die. They adapted. They hid. They became something more. The screen glitched. Then Zorax looked directly at the camera. If this message reaches you, remember, the humans are not just survivors. They are evolution's fury. I helped them. I trained them. And I'm not sorry. The video ended. Lyrics's ship flew into the dark once again. He whispered to himself, what did you see, Zorax? What did we become when we called ourselves gods? The stars didn't answer, but something far away was waking up, something old, something human. The silence inside the ship was heavy. Officer Lyrics stared at the frozen screen. The video of Captain Zorax played over and over again in his mind. I trained them, I helped them, and I'm not sorry. The words refused to leave his thoughts. Zorax, once the Empire's most feared war hero, had not just vanished. He had switched sides, but why? Lyrics needed answers. He wasn't just curious now, he was scared. The signal, the hidden moon, the human helmet, the voice of Zorax, it all pointed to one terrifying truth. Humanity was not gone. And if they had survived, they were coming back. Lyrics returned to the Central Patrol Station near Sector 7, far from the Empire's capital. It was a quiet outpost with very little activity. Perfect for secret research. He entered the archive chamber and requested files on Operation Ashfall, the final war on Earth. Access restricted. Level required. Omega-9. He didn't have that clearance, but Lyrics had learned how to bypass firewalls during his academy years. With a deep breath, he connected his data chip to the archive. Within minutes, the screen flickered, then opened. He was in. The records were old, full of half-deleted logs. Broken videos, strange reports. One caught his eye. War Log 287, Ground Team 4, Resistance. Attack, Northern Zone. He played it. The video was shaky. Explosions lit up a gray sky. A Drekan soldier ran for cover, screaming, "They're not dying. They keep getting back up." Then the camera turned. A human, tall, lean, wearing simple armor, charged through the smoke. His eyes glowed with strange light. He moved like no human Lyrics had ever seen. Fast, precise, almost enhanced. The feed cut out with static. Playback ended. Damage, 78%. Lyrics leaned back in his chair. "They weren't just fighting back," he said aloud. "They were evolving." He searched deeper. In a hidden folder labeled SQP. He found audio files. Most were damaged, but one played. Zorax's voice, calm but broken. "I saw a child. Not more than 8 years old. She had lost her arm. She was bleeding. But she stood up and threw a grenade into my transport. They had no training, no weapons. But they had fire in their hearts." Lyrics shook his head. "And we called them animals." He closed the file and stepped outside the archive room. The hallway was cold. Silent. He felt eyes watching him. He turned quickly. No one. But something felt wrong. He returned to his quarters, tired and shaken. When he entered, the lights were off. The door locked behind him on its own. Then a voice spoke. "You've been digging into Zorax." Lyrics turned fast. A shadow stood in the corner. Not a soldier. A scientist, older, wearing a long coat with the Empire's seal. "Who are you?" Lyrics asked, hand near his weapon. "Someone who once believed in the Empire. Until I saw what they were hiding." The man stepped into the light. He had one robotic eye and burn marks across his face. "My name is Dr. Turin. I was part of the original team that studied the last human prisoner. The one Zorax tried to protect." Lyrics was silent. "There was a child," Taran continued. "The last human taken from Earth. We were told to break her, to test her limits. She should have died. But she didn't." "What happened to her?" Lyrics asked. Taren looked down. "She disappeared from the lab. We were told she escaped. But I always believed someone helped her." "Zorax?" "Yes." Lyrics followed Taran to an underground storage unit. Behind 3 sealed doors, they entered a dark, cold room. In the center was a cryostasis pod. Long sealed. Inside it. A small body. A girl, no older than 10. "Is she?" Lyrics began. "Alive," Taran said. "In deep sleep for over 200 years. A ghost from Earth's last breath." Lyrics walked closer. The girl's face was calm, peaceful, but something in her still felt powerful. Then the pod beeped. She was waking up. "What did you do?" Lyrics shouted. "Nothing," Taran said. "The pod. It responded to your presence." The lights flickered. Then the pod opened. Steam poured out. The girl sat up slowly. Her eyes opened, sharp, glowing faintly with golden light. She looked at Lyrics, and in perfect Drekan language she said, "Zorax told me you'd come." Lyrics stumbled back. "You can speak?" "I learned your language long ago." "But how? You were just a child. We had to learn, or die." Taran stepped forward. "What's your name?" The girl looked at him. "They called me Nova, but I have no name now, only a memory." "A memory of what?" Lyrics asked. Her eyes darkened. "Of fire, of pain. Of what your empire did to my people." "I wasn't there," Lyrics said quickly. "I know," she replied. "That's why you're still breathing." The room was silent. Then Nova asked, "Is Earth still gone?" Lyrics nodded slowly. "It's dust. Nothing remains. Not true, she said. We left before it burned. Lyrics froze. What do you mean? Nova looked at him, and for the first time there was sorrow in her voice. Zorax helped us build escape ships. Not many, only a few thousand. But we lived. We found a dark corner of the galaxy. We hid, we waited. And we changed. Changed how? Taran asked. We stopped being weak. We stopped being human in the old way. We became what we needed to be. To survive what you created. Lyrics felt dizzy. The war wasn't over. It had never ended. And now, the survivors were coming back. Why return now? Lyrics asked. Nova stepped out of the pod. Her skin glowed faintly under the lights. Because the Empire forgot. And when they forget, they repeat. Taran whispered, "What does that mean?" She looked at him. They are doing it again, on other planets. Not humans this time, but other species. The same pain. The same fire. That is why we returned. You're here to stop us, Lyric said. Nova nodded. Not for revenge, but for justice. Suddenly the building shook. Alarms blared. Warning. Unauthorized ship detected in orbit. Lyrics looked at the screen. A small human stealth ship had entered the station's airspace. Nova smiled. They found me. Are they here to attack? Taran asked. No, they're here for me. Outside, the human ship landed gently. Its doors opened and two soldiers stepped out. They were tall, wearing dark armor, unlike anything Lyrics had seen. They didn't speak. They scanned Nova, then nodded. She turned to Lyrics. Thank you for listening. What now? He asked. Now we prepare for what comes next. And what is that? Nova stared into the sky. War, but not the kind you know. The human ship rose into the stars, carrying Nova away. Lyrics and Taran stood in silence. We just witnessed history, Taran said. Lyrics nodded. But deep inside, he knew. This was only the beginning. 200 years ago. Location: Earth, Final Warfront. Zone 12. The sky was burning. Ash fell like snow as Drekan warships hovered over the broken cities of Earth. The ground shook with every blast. Buildings collapsed. Fires raged in every direction. Captain Zorax stood at the edge of a ruined street, watching it all. He wore black Drekan armor with golden stripes, a symbol of high command. His face was calm, emotionless. Behind him, hundreds of Drekan soldiers marched forward. Their mission was simple: erase the final human resistance. No survivors. Zorax had led this kind of mission many times. He never hesitated. He believed in the Empire, in control, in strength. But something inside him had started to change. Hours earlier, Zorax had received a message from command. The last human hideout is in Zone 12. A group of rebels, including civilians, are there. You are to destroy them. Use full force. He didn't ask questions. He never had. But now, standing among the rubble, something felt different. He saw a human boy, maybe 9 or 10, lying in the debris, wounded, scared, clutching something close to his chest. Zorax stepped closer. The boy didn't run. He just stared at him with tired, angry eyes. Zorax pointed his weapon. The boy opened his hands. In them was a photo. A torn, burned image of a family, smiling. Zorax froze. Why are you showing me this? He asked. The boy didn't speak. He just kept holding the photo. Suddenly, a Drekan soldier approached. Sir, do you want me to finish him? Zorax looked down again. No, he said. But sir, I said no. The soldier hesitated, then walked away. Zorax knelt beside the boy and took the photo. He looked at it. Humans were weak. That's what the Empire always said. But that picture showed something else. Hope, love, life, things. The Empire had burned away. Later that night, Zorax returned to base camp. He didn't speak to anyone. He went straight to the holding cells. There, in one of the cages, was a young human girl, dirty, thin, but alive. She looked up when he entered. Her eyes glowed slightly in the dark, not from light, but from something deeper. "You're the one they call Zorax," she said. "You speak our language," he replied. "I listen. What's your name?" "Nova." Zorax stared at her. Something in her voice was wrong. Not scared, not angry, just calm. Like she already knew the end of the story. Over the next few days, Zorax broke orders. He kept Nova alive. He spoke to her. She told him about her people. About how they fought not with machines, but with belief. "You kill us," she said. "But for every one who falls, another rises." "You can't win," Zorax said. "Your kind is almost gone." "You don't understand humans," she replied. "We grow in the ashes." Zorax didn't answer, but in his heart, he felt something break. Then came the mission's final order. End. Phase, no survivors. Burn it all. Zorax stood in the command room. His officers waited. He looked at the planet map. The last resistance cell was marked. He saw it and remembered Nova's words. "We grow in the ashes." He turned to his officers. "Leave me. I will finish this alone." They obeyed. Zorax took a small shuttle and flew to the resistance zone. It was quiet, cold, a bunker hidden under rock and steel. He landed and entered. Inside, dozens of human civilians waited, old, young, wounded. They didn't run. They knew he was there to kill them. Nova was among them. She walked forward. "So this is it," she said. Zorax didn't raise his weapon. He looked at the group and said one word. "Leave." They didn't move. "You'll kill us anyway," someone said. "No," Zorax replied. "I will help you escape." The room went silent. Nova stepped closer. "Why?" "Because I saw what we became," he said. "I saw what I became. And it ends now." Zorax used his high command codes to unlock old Empire ships hidden in the area. He loaded the humans inside, quietly, secretly. Then he launched the ships toward the Edge Nebula, far from Empire space. As the final ship left Earth, Nova looked back. "You'll be marked a traitor." "I already am," he said. "Thank you," she whispered. "Live," Zorax replied. "That will be your revenge." The ship vanished into the stars. Zorax stood alone. That same night, he sent a message, the same one Lyrics would find 200 years later. "If you're hearing this, it means I failed. Humanity is rising, and they will not stop. Do not ignore this warning. Stop them, or the Empire will fall." Then he destroyed the rest of the Empire's tracking systems on Earth, erasing the humans' trail, and he disappeared. Back in the present, Lyrics sat in silence, reading the full record of Zorax's betrayal. He finally understood. Zorax didn't switch sides because he was weak. He did it because he saw the truth. The Empire was powerful, but humanity was something else. Endless, adaptive, remembering. Nova had returned. And now Lyrics had a choice. Stay loyal to a dying empire, or join the ones who had survived its worst fire. Present time, Outer Rim Zone, Edge Nebula. The stars outside Lyrics' ship were dim, scattered across a fog of dust and gas. The Edge Nebula was known as a dead zone. No life, no movement. At least, that's what the Empire believed. But now Lyrics knew the truth. They were wrong. Somewhere in this forgotten corner of space was Nova's people, the last humans, the children of Earth, the ones who had survived and evolved. Dr. Tureen sat beside him in the cockpit, silent, tense. "Do you really think she meant to lead us here?" Taran asked. Lyrics nodded. "She said she remembered everything. That includes this place." They followed the coordinates Nova had left in the old Empire beacon. "It's not on any map," Lyrics added. "They erased it. Or hid it," Turan said, "to protect it from us." As they entered deeper into the nebula, the ship's sensors started to fail. Gravitational pull increasing. the I voice warned. There's something here, Lyrics muttered. Suddenly, the clouds cleared, just for a second, and they saw it. A massive hidden structure floating in the gas field. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a planet. It was something in between. A city made from old starship parts, asteroid rock, solar panels, and pieces of long-dead technology. A city built by survivors. As the ship got closer, it was pulled by an invisible force. They've locked onto us, Turan said. Let them, Lyrics replied. We came to listen. They landed on a dark platform. No guards. No lights. Just silence. Then without sound, several figures appeared from the mist. Tall, quiet, human, but different. Their armor was smooth, matte black, with no symbols. Their eyes glowed faintly, not cybernetic, but evolved. One stepped forward, a woman, face calm, body strong. You are not welcome, she said. Lyrics stepped forward. I came with a warning and a message from Nova. The woman paused. Nova is one of us, but she does not speak for all. She said the Empire is repeating history. That it must be stopped. The woman studied him, then said, Come with me. They walked through long tunnels made of glass and metal. Vines grew inside the walls. Strange blue light lit path. The city was alive, not just built, but grown. Taren whispered. They used biotech. This isn't machinery, it's alive. They entered a large chamber where hundreds of people sat in silence, meditating. Children. Trained in the corner, not with weapons, but with strange floating orbs. They controlled them with their minds. One of them looked at Lyrics and smiled. A girl, no older than 12. She pointed to his heart and said, You feel heavy. What? Lyrics asked. Because you don't know who you are anymore. Lyrics blinked. She was already walking away. That was weird. Turin whispered. At the center of the city was a circular council hall. There, several human elders waited. Nova stood with them. Her face was calmer now, brighter. You found us, she said. You led us, Lyrics replied. Nova looked at the others. They need to hear it from you. Lyrics stepped into the circle. The Empire has restarted its old campaigns, new planets, new victims. It starts again. We know, one elder replied. Then why haven't you stopped them? Because we are not soldiers anymore. Then what are you? Nova answered. We are memories. That is our weapon now. Lyrics was confused. You survived. You evolved. You have power I've never seen. Why not fight? Because war made us like them, Nova said. And we won't become monsters too. Destroy monsters. One elder rose and spoke. But it's time. Some among us believe the cycle must be broken, not by hiding, but by rising. Nova nodded. You came here to see us. You are the test. If even one Dreeken can change, then maybe the Empire can too. Lyric stepped forward. What do you want me to do? Not fight, Nova said. Not yet. First, see what we are. They took him to a hall of remembrance. Inside were memories, not written, not recorded, but alive. A glowing orb floated in the air. Touch it, Nova said. Lyrics reached out, and suddenly he saw it. Earth. Before the war. Children playing. Trees blowing in the wind. Families laughing. Then fire, ships, bombs, screams. He fell back, gasping. It's real. It's what we carry, Nova said. Not just pain, but what we lost. You can use this. As a weapon? No, she replied. As a mirror. Nova showed him more. A human boy helping a wounded Dreeken in secret during the war. A human girl risking her life to save animals. Trapped in the rubble, people who forgave, who chose kindness even in fire. This is how we survived, Nova said. Not with guns, with hearts. Lyric sat in silence. The Empire is empty now, he whispered. Full of fear, lies, machines. So fill it with something else, Nova said. How? Nova looked at the children training outside. By becoming the first to believe again. Suddenly, alarms rang through the city. Nova turned quickly. No, they found us. Who? Lyrics asked. The Empire. Your signal was traced. Outside, Drekan warships appeared, breaking through the nebula. But something was wrong. They weren't attacking. They were watching. Then a transmission came through. This is Commander Varn. Under orders of the High Empire. He paused. We want to speak. With your leaders. No weapons. Nova looked at Lyrics. What did you do? Nothing, he said. But maybe they saw the signal I sent before I left. What signal? Lyrics looked at the glowing memory orb still floating in the chamber. The truth. The humans. Prepared. No weapons were raised. No defenses. Activated. They opened the gates. And for the first time in 200 years. Drekan soldiers walked peacefully into a human city. Nova stepped forward. We will talk, she said. But not as enemies. As survivors. Commander Varn looked around. He saw the children. The light. The life. He said only one word. Impossible. And Lyrics, standing between two worlds, knew this was the moment. This was the test. The fire that once destroyed Earth might now light a new path forward, or it might burn everything again. Location: Drekan Empire, High Council Chamber, Capital World, Carni's time. 48 hours after first contact with the hidden human colony, the High Council of the Drekan Empire sat around a massive black table shaped like a broken star. 12 chairs, 12 voices, and only one goal, power. In the center, Emperor Kale Vus sat still, hands folded, golden armor glowing dimly under the council lights. He was ancient, powerful, and feared. Something shook even him. A live recording was playing. It showed Nova, the human leader, speaking peacefully with Commander Varn. And beside her stood a Drekan soldier, one of their own. Lyrics. When the feed ended, silence filled the chamber. Then Counselor Varric spoke. This is treason. That soldier should be executed immediately. Another counselor nodded. Contact with humans was banned by imperial decree. But Counselor Mara, one of the younger voices, stood up. And yet they did not attack. They invited us. They showed us their lives, their truth. Truth? Varric shouted. Their kind burned our ships, killed our ancestors. Because we started the war. Mara replied. The chamber erupted in argument. Only the Emperor remained silent. After a while, he raised one hand. Silence returned instantly. I have seen the transmission, Kaelva said, voice cold and deep. And I have heard enough noise. He stood. Bring the traitor to me. Later in a lower chamber, Lyric stood in chains. Behind him, 2 guards. In front of him, the Emperor himself. Kale walked around him slowly. You disobeyed. You left the borders. You contacted the enemy. I did what your generals never dared to do, Lyrics replied. I listened. Kale stopped. And what did you hear? That they remember, that they survived, that they are more alive than we are. Kale's eyes narrowed. Do you think we fear their memory? You should, Lyric said. Because they are not coming with ships or bombs. They are coming with ideas. The Emperor smiled slightly. Ideas can be crushed. Not these. Later, Lyrics was taken back to his cell. But that night, something happened. Counselor Mara came to him. You're not safe here. The others want you erased. And you? Lyrics asked. I want to know what you saw, truly. So he showed her, using a hidden copy of Nova's memory orb. He let her see the truth. Earth before the fall. Families. Peace. Pain. Hope. Tears filled Mara's eyes. We've become shadows, she whispered. We fly among stars, but feel nothing. You can change that, Lyric said. But not by hiding. Mara returned to the council the next morning. Different. She called a special session. I move for a temporary peace envoy to be sent to the human colony. Gasps filled the room. You mean surrender? Varak shouted. No, Mara said. I mean listen, learn. Before we repeat history. Varak slammed the table. You are weak, just like Zorax. The name echoed like thunder. Zorax, the traitor from 200 years ago. The Draken war hero who had saved the last humans. He was brave, Mara replied. And maybe right. The Emperor stood again. We vote, he said simply. 1 by 1. The councillors raised hands. 6 against. 5 for. Then came the Emperor. He paused, then raised his hand. Let them speak. 1 envoy. No weapons. Meanwhile, human colony, Edge Nebula Nova watched the stars with a silent frown. They are coming, she whispered. One of her generals, a quiet man named Korin, stood beside her. We should prepare defenses. No, Nova said. We prepare tea. Korin frowned. You think this is peace? I think it's the beginning of a conversation. And that is more dangerous than war. The next day, a single sleek Draken ship entered the human city. Out stepped Counselor Mara. Alone. The humans watched from a distance. Nova greeted her. No weapons. Just words. Mara bowed her head slightly. I come in peace. Nova smiled softly. Then come inside. In the inner halls, they spoke. Of Earth, of history, of Zorax, of lyrics, of pain and fire and silence. Mara listened deeply. Nova poured tea. Strange, Mara said. This feels like home. That's because you forgot what home feels like, Nova replied. Elsewhere, hidden deep in the Empire. A secret general watched the peace mission with disgust. They are soft, he told his officers. The Emperor is slipping. We must act. The general's name was Karnax, head of the Shadow Wing. He had plans, quiet ones. And he hated peace. The humans must burn, he said, just like before. Back on the colony, Lyrics was finally free. He watched Mara walk side by side. With Nova. Hope flickered in his chest, but he knew. Peace was fragile. One spark, one lie, one hidden move. And everything could fall apart. Location: secret Draken base, orbiting moon of Gentar 4 time. Same day. Hours after Counselor Mara reaches the human colony, General Karnak stood in the cold control room. Outside the glass walls, the surface of Gentar 4's dead moon stretched into darkness. His officers moved quietly around him. No one spoke. Not unless Karnax allowed it. He watched a hologram showing Mara and Nova in conversation. Fools, he muttered. Words will not save us. Beside him, his chief tactician Zirin spoke carefully. The Emperor approved the peace mission. Then the Emperor is old. Soft, Zirin lowered his eyes. He had seen what Karnax did to those who argued. Karnax turned to a secret panel on the wall and pressed his hand on the scanner. A hidden door opened. Begin Operation Silence, he ordered. We will wipe them out before they speak too loud. Location: human colony, Edge Nebula, learning chamber while the leaders spoke politics. The children trained. They played with light orbs, learned memory control, and studied Earth's forgotten languages. One child, Aaliyah, was special. Only 10 years old, she could connect with the memory core better than anyone. One day, while meditating, the core flashed violently. She saw a vision. Ships, black ships, moving silently through the nebula, with no insignia. No orders. They're coming, she whispered. Who? Her teacher asked. Shadows. Meanwhile, Nova and Maranova guided Mara through a garden grown inside the city. How did you build all this? Mara asked. We didn't. We healed it, Nova replied. The Earth taught us, even in death, life finds a way. Mara touched a glowing plant that responded to her warmth. We lost this long ago, she said. The Empire forgot how to feel. Nova looked serious. then teach them again. Before someone decides to erase us. That night, Aaliyah ran to Nova's chamber. I saw ships, in the dark. They're hiding their light. They're coming to hurt us. Nova knelt beside her. Are you sure? Aaliyah nodded. It wasn't a dream. Nova turned to Corin, her military chief. Send scouts, quietly. Corin hesitated. And if it's true? Then we face both peace and war at the same time. Elsewhere, Karnax's shadow fleet, 12 warships glided silently through the nebula. Their engines were dampened, heat signatures masked inside the lead ship. Karnax spoke to his crew. This mission does not exist. If you speak of it, you vanish. He pointed to a star map. We strike here, the human power core. One blow. Fast, no survivors. And Mara? Zirin asked. If she's there, she chose the wrong side. Empire capital. Prison cell. Night Lyrics sat alone, eyes closed. He felt something. A pull. A fear. Suddenly, Counselor Mara's assistant rushed in. They found something. You need to see it. Lyrics was taken to a surveillance room. On the screen, flickers of shadow ships, too silent, too fast. Karnax, Lyrics said. He's going to start a war behind the Council's back. Then we stop him, the assistant said. No, we warn them. I need to go back. They'll never allow it. Lyrics looked hard at the assistant. Then help me escape. Human colony. Nova's war table, the scouts returned. It's true, Corin said. 12 ships. No ID, cloaked signatures. Same direction. Nova stared at the map. This is not a coincidence. Someone inside the Empire wants us gone. Mara looked guilty. It's Karnax. He always hated peace, but I didn't think ... You wanted to believe peace was enough, Nova said. Now we must prepare both peace and defense. She turned to Corin. Activate Skyguard. But do not fire unless fired upon. They'll destroy us before we can speak, he warned. Not if we survive long enough to show the truth. Later that night, Human Memory Core Rumelia stood before the glowing orb again. She reached out, and the memories flowed. Suddenly, a new vision appeared. A figure, dressed in black armor, hidden deep inside a Dreekan warship. A message. Stop Karnax before he burns it all. She fell back, eyes wide. Zorax, she whispered. What? Nova asked, entering the room. Zorax's memory ... warned me. Nova's face turned pale. Then the past is speaking again. Empire, Lyrics's escape with the help of 2 rebel pilots. Lyrics escaped the capital. His ship darted into deep space, heading straight for the nebula. If I make it in time, he whispered, maybe war won't win. Next day, the first attack. A loud boom shook the human colony. Corin rushed in. First impact, power node hit. We're holding. But barely. Nova activated the global message system. To the Empire, you are attacking a civilian colony. We are not armed. This is not defense. This is murder. Karnax watched the message on his bridge. Let the galaxy see. Let them fear again. But Zirin turned slightly. We may have gone too far. Karnax didn't reply. Mara's broadcast. Mara hijacked the Empire's internal network. This is Counselor Mara. The attack on the humans is unauthorized. This is a betrayal of peace. If we fall silent now, we lose everything. Her face was brave. I am standing with them. Not because they are strong, but because they remember who we were. Final scene. Lyrics arrives as Karnax's fleet closed in for a final strike. Lyrics's ship burst through the nebula. Stand down. He shouted over the comms. The Council has not approved this attack. Too late, Karnax replied. We finish what was started 200 years ago. But Lyrics had already sent a full transmission, a live feed, back to the Empire's capital. It showed everything. The truth. The unprovoked attack. The peaceful colony, The innocent lives. Location: outer orbit, human colony. Edge nebula time. Minutes after Lyrics's broadcast begins, the galaxy watched in silence. From the Empire's richest cities to the poorest moons, people stood before screens as the live broadcast from Lyrics played across the stars. Footage showed black Draken warships firing on peaceful structures. No weapons fired back. No soldiers fought. Only children running. Families hiding. People trying to live. And in the middle of it all, Counselor Mara's voice echoed loud and clear. This is not a war. This is a crime. Inside the Draken capital, Imperial newsroom, the Emperor sat before a giant screen, his face like stone. Around him, officers and nobles whispered in panic. This will destroy us. People will rise. The name Karnax is trending across systems, in disgrace. Emperor Kael Vos raised a hand. Silence. Bring Karnax to me. Alive. Human colony, underground bunker Nova stood near the memory core, breathing slowly. The attack had stopped. For now, they saw it, she whispered. The galaxy saw the truth. Lyrics entered, tired, burned, but alive. The stream worked. People are questioning everything. Nova looked at him. Zorax would have been proud. Then maybe. It's time to hear his voice again. Memory core activation. Nova placed her hand on the orb. The room darkened. The core pulsed. And then a voice returned from the dead. Zorax's voice. If this message is heard, it means I failed, or maybe I succeeded in the only way I could. I am Captain Zorax, born of the Draken Empire, trained in war, trained in fear, trained to destroy. But I was wrong. The vision changed. Everyone in the room saw Zorax as he had once been, proud, armored, fierce. Then they saw him with humans, helping children, healing wounds, smiling. I didn't betray the Empire, Zorax said. I betrayed what it had become. You told us humans were weak. But I saw children hold back tanks with nothing but stones. I saw love where I was told to bring fire. I saw life, even in ashes. Tears filled Lyrics's eyes. The message continued. If the Empire sees this, know this. Humanity never died, we did. But we can live again, if we choose peace. Draken capital, streets in chaos. Protests broke out. Citizens marched with signs. We are not monsters. Zorax was right. Stop the shadows, young Draken shouted. No more silence. Even inside military stations, officers hesitated to follow Karnax's orders. Karnax's fleet, Shadow Command Bridgeziran, looked at the reports. We've lost system control. Broadcasts are everywhere. Karnax slammed his hand into the wall. Then we crush them now. But his ship was surrounded, not by humans, by Empire ships. The Emperor had arrived. General Karnax. A voice echoed on his screen. You are under arrest. Power down your fleet. You're choosing traitors over soldiers? Karnax shouted. No, the Emperor replied. We're choosing the future. Karnax screamed in rage. Then pressed a red button. If I fall, I take them with me. Warning lights flashed. A self-destruct signal. His ships began to charge. Their cores. Zer on backed away. You'll destroy everything. Exactly, Karnax hissed. Human colony, incoming message. Nova received the warning. He's going to detonate the fleet. That'll tear the nebula apart, Corin sighed. How long do we have? Mara asked. Minutes. Elia stepped forward. I can help, she said. Everyone looked at her. The core showed me Karnax's ship. I know how to stop it. Final mission. Stop the Lyrics, Nova and Elia boarded a small stealth craft. They flew directly into Karnax's fleet, dodging blasts, hiding in debris, flying through flame. There, Elia pointed, his control ship. Nova looked at Lyrics. One chance. They entered the lower bay and fought through defense drones. Elia plugged into the ship's memory port. I see the core. I can stop it, but I need time. Nova and Lyrics held off the guards. Elia's small hands moved fast over the glowing console. Come on, come on. Then, the lights blinked red to green. System neutralized. I said. You did it, Nova whispered suddenly. Karnax entered the bay, wounded but furious. You think this ends with me? He raised his weapon, but Lyric stepped forward. It ends with choice. He fired. Karnax fell silenced later. Days after the battle, the Drekan Council met again. The Emperor stood before the galaxy. We have committed many crimes. Today, we begin to correct them. Mara stood beside him. A new era begins, one of memory, one of truth. Nova, Lyrics, and Aaliyah watched from the colony. Zorax's voice echoed one last time. In peace we are more than strong. We are human. Location, human colony. Edge Nebula time. Several weeks after the Great Peace, the stars above the colony twinkled quietly, like distant promises waiting to be kept. Nova stood on the highest tower of the city, looking out at the vast nebula swirling with light and color. The air was calm now. The battles were over, but the real challenge was just beginning. She thought of Earth, the blue planet, now lost to time and war. But Earth was not just a place, it was an idea. A spark. Lyrics walked beside her, the weight of the past still heavy on his shoulders. He had seen the Empire's darkness and humanity's flame. Do you think we can really build a future? He asked quietly. Nova smiled softly. We don't have a choice. The stars are big, and they don't forgive. But together, maybe we can. In the council hall, the Drekan Emperor Kale Vos sat in a chair that looked less cold than before. The war and its lies had changed him. Counselor Mara stood beside him. We signed the new treaty today, she said proudly. Not just between humans and Drekan, but between all who want peace. The hall echoed with applause, but the leaders knew that many challenges lay ahead. Elia's room, the young girl, sat before the memory core. Her eyes were bright with curiosity, and hope. The core glowed softly. She touched it gently. Images of Earth's past flickered. Children playing, trees growing, people loving and fighting. Suddenly, the core revealed something new, a hidden message. From Zorax, Zorax's final gift. The message played in the room. To those who listen, the war was never the end. It was a beginning. I have left you something, a gift, not a weapon, but a hope. Look inside the stars. Find the light that never fades. Remember who you are, and carry the last light of Earth. For as long as you remember, you will never truly be lost. Nova, Lyrics, and Aaliyah watched in silence. The gift was a star map, showing a path to a hidden Earth sanctuary, a place untouched by war, holding seeds, knowledge, and hope. Journey to the sanctuary. A small ship prepared to leave the colony. Carrying the first group of explorers, Nova stood on the bridge. This is for all of us, she said. Lyrics checked the ship's systems. And for the future. Aaliyah held the memory core close. For the light. The engines roared, and the ship launched into the unknown. On board the sanctuary ship, the journey was long and quiet. Explorers told stories, sang old songs, and remembered Earth's beauty. Aaliyah touched the core often, learning from it. She felt a connection growing between the past and future. At the sanctuary, after days of travel, the ship approached a small green planet. The scans showed life, forests, rivers, animals. They landed softly. The air smelled sweet. Exploring the sanctuary, Nova stepped onto the soft soil, feeling the warmth beneath her feet. Around her, ancient trees stretched high. They found old libraries filled with books, data crystals, and seeds, all preserved for centuries. It was a place of peace and knowledge. Earth's last hope. The first seed. Aaliyah held a small seed carefully. This can grow a new tree, she said. Nova smiled. And with every seed we plant hope. Back in the colony, news of the sanctuary's discovery spread. The colony celebrated. Children played under new stars. Adults talked about peace, rebuilding, and a future worth fighting for. The Empire changes. Even in the Empire, new leaders rose who believed in peace and cooperation. The old wars were not forgotten, but taught as lessons. The galaxy began to heal. Final scene. Nova and Lyrics stood on the edge of a cliff, looking at the nebula's glow. The last light of Earth is not a star, Nova said. It's us. Our memories, our choices. Lyrics nodded. And as long as we carry it, the darkness can never win. Epilogue. Far away, deep in space, the stars shone bright. A new chapter began, one where humans and aliens could live together, learning from past mistakes, where the last light of Earth, hope, would never fade. The end.